I've had all day to film this, and yet I choose the time when the sun is starting to set in the sky. Hi, I'm Samantha, and I have goals. I've got a lot of them. Well, 8. We're going to talk about them right now. These are all bookish related, so they have nothing to do with personal goals, I guess. I don't know. It's all about self-improvement in some way. First up, start a book channel on YouTube. Number 2 is to reorganize my Goodreads labeling system. I actually just started relabeling my Goodreads folders so that it's a little bit easier to find something more specific. Like if I read something that's considered as more of like a soft sci-fi, then I have a folder for that. And I now have a favorites folder. Go me. So up until this point, my labeling system consisted of to be read, currently reading, read, and I then had everything labeled out by year completed. I just started putting things in those folders, and then every now and then I come up with a new folder that would be appropriate. So this is going to be something that's organically evolving throughout the year, so keep an eye on that. Speaking of Goodreads, I do have a number of books that I would like to complete by the end of 2020, and that is 50 books. I realized the past 2 years I've read way more than 50 books, but I promised myself that I would only tick my Goodreads goal up 5 books at a time back like 5 years ago or so. So we're keeping it up. So next year will probably be 55 books. Maybe I'll just jump into it and hit 100 someday, but we'll see. And you know, it's kind of nice hitting that Goodreads goal by June, July. It's good. It's a good feel. On to things that I want to read. Everyone and their grandmother has a goal of reading more Stephen King this year. I don't understand it. If you're not into horror or already into Stephen King, unless you've already read a Stephen King and you're like, oh yeah. An alternative, which I highly recommend because I am going to pursue it, is my goal number 4. Read more Catherynne M. Valente. She also resides in Maine currently. She's not a product of Maine, but she's living on an island in Maine. She writes heavy, detailed literature, and she has an excellent range. Some of her stuff is a little dark, but it's always playful and jazzy and fantastic. She's got middle grade, she's got science fiction, she's got fantasy. You'll find something. So she's an alternative. I want to indulge in more of her books. I'm in the mood to reread Space Opera for the millionth time, and I'm also kind of in the mood to reread Deathless because it's been a while, and that's one of my favorite books of all time, and I kind of want to explore the fairyland again. And I want to read some of her backlist books, which I never picked up or have yet to pick up. It will be a pursuit to invest in more of her stuff. I'll probably just end up rereading all the books that are my favorites of hers, and then also just maybe add one book. Still a success to me. So I have a few series that are in progress. One of those is Hitchhikers, which I just started last year, and I do want to keep going with it because they kind of leave you hanging and you just kind of want to keep exploring this galaxy. I may just pick up a bind up of the remaining, or of the whole series, because yeah. And then there's a short story collection. It's back there. I'll post the cover over here. My mother, she killed me. My father, he ate me. I started this over a year ago, and I have temptation to do a reading vlog on this because this book is great. I just never read short stories. I'm terrible with short story collections, so it's something that I just want to finish. And then Shatter Me is going to be completed this year. Did I love the series? No, but I'm a fan of witty novels, and she is gonna friggin' spoil me if I don't finish this book, so I gotta finish it. My mom's really into it too, and so it's something that we share, and I'd really like to get that series. I gotta reread the first few books because there's a lot of details that I'd forgotten, and yeah. I rarely buy books. I buy books when I really, really love them, but every now and then, it's usually just whenever Book Outlet does a really big sale. So I did buy books at the end of last year. I got 10 books for under 30 bucks, so it was fantastic. My goal is to read one book that I already own in my library. Well, my personal library, core collection, whatever you call it. So that's 12 books total. Did I read one last month? This is a loose-ended goal, but there are some books that I want to reread because I haven't explored them for quite some time. I'm definitely going to reread The Raven Cycle with probably as soon as the Raven Girls pick up their podcast again for season 3, and because I'm just going to be inspired and, you know, indulgent. But other than that, I have some books that I absolutely loved in the past, and I want to reread them just to give them a second chance. And reevaluate a few books that because I think about them so much, they deserve better ratings, or, you know, whatever. One of those is The Omnivore's Dilemma. One of my favorite books of all time is The God-Shaped Hole. I want to reread that, and maybe rereading The Cheese Monkeys. I'm tempted. The last goal I have in mind is to track my reading, which I've never really done before. I do have a bullet journal, and I have tracked it. I followed Lala's example from her old bullet journal entries, and I tried tracking that way by page count, and now I just track with, I have a cute little calendar that I put in. Like, I set up a calendar for the month, and then I just assign each book a color, and as I read it each day, I just dictate how many pages I read. Just keeping track of how I'm reading it, and also virtually I have a spreadsheet going. I have a spreadsheet from last year that I didn't even bother dealing with for my end of year wrap-up stuff. We'll see if I can incorporate that at the end of this year. But anyway, tracking books, 50 books read. We're gonna read more Cat, and we're starting a booktube channel apparently. So that's it, 8 little goals. Hopefully we will accomplish something. I hope this was inspiring in some way. Do you have any goals for the year? Book related. Anyway, let me know down below because I am curious. I may add to my list, make it an even 10. That is it for now. Bye.